Namaskar. Hello and welcome to PGurus channel. I'm your host Sri Iyer. A while ago, I had mentioned Reko Diq as something in passing, and now comes news that yesterday Pakistan has signed a deal with a Canadian company called Barrick Gold for developing the Reko Diq mine after 10 years of legal battles and negotiations. I'm going to go into the details of that in just a minute. But first, let us look at the numbers. The numbers are that the penalty of approximately 11 billion will be settled or offset, and a further 10 billion will be invested in Balochistan. And Imran Khan claims that will generate 8,000 jobs. We'll take a look at that also. Now, Reko Diq is an open mine, and you can mine there for copper and gold, and yet nothing really happened for a long time. So what happened? Here's the history of the Reko Diq project. In 1993, an Australian company called BHP Billiton signed an agreement with the Balochistan government. The agreement was that BHP would get 75% of what gets produced there, and that the Baloch government will get 25%. Now, not much happened. By 2000, BHP handed over this particular project to another Australian company called Mincor. Now, Mincor, in turn, is acquired in 2006 by yet another Australian company called 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝗍𝘂𝘀𝘀. Now, in 2006 also, the 𝗍𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀, which is the agreement that BHP and Balochistan had originally signed, got challenged in the Balochistan High Court and got dismissed. Now, 5 years later, 2011, 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀, now the current owner of this whole project, submitted a mining lease that the Baloch government rejected. Why did they reject that? Well, what 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀 wanted was to take the ore and ship the ore. Well, Balochistan didn't want that. They wanted the copper and gold to be purified in Pakistan and then sent out. Well, that's where the sticking point was, and they wouldn't agree. So, after that, what happened? 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀 sued Pakistan in a World Bank Group's ICSID court, claiming $11 billion in damages. Remember the previous slide I showed you, 11 billion? There you go. That is a number. Okay. Now, in 2013, the Pakistan Supreme Court declared the 𝗍𝘂𝘀 project null and void. So, on Pakistan side, there was no such project, even though company had come in and sunk in a lot of millions to try and mine it. Then, now the case has gone to an international court, and in that international court in 2019 they awarded up to $5.96 billion damages to 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀. Now in 2020, 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀 tried to force Pakistan to pay by attaching PIA assets in a British Virgin Islands court. Remember that there's another similar story going on with India also. They are trying to attach Air India assets, another company, but that's a bogus company that is, that came out of ISRO employees. That's a different story. But you see how these things have similarities. Now, in 2022, 5 days ago, a Washington, D.C. court. Well, okay, before that, in 2020, once the British Virgin Islands said that you can attach Pakistan International Airlines assets, remember there was a plane that was attached in Malaysia? All the passengers were offloaded and the plane was attached. I mean, don't laugh too much. I mean, Air India might also get into something like this. So every time I get on an Air India flight, I have this fear. Am I going to reach the destination? Not because the flight can't go, not because the hospitality isn't great, but because there could be some other issues. Anyway, long story short. So Pakistan got a stay in 2020. Now, the case went on. 𝗣𝗎𝘂𝘀𝘀𝘀𝘀 appealed this in a Washington, D.C. court. Why Washington, you ask? World Bank. That is the clue. World Bank has the maximum investment from America. Therefore, 2022, 4 days ago, I should say. 4 days ago, a Washington, D.C. court vacated the stay and told Pakistan to pay the $6 billion. Now, And yesterday, 20th March, Barrick Gold of Canada signs a deal with Pakistan government. The 11 and it agrees to offset the $11 billion, which is the money that is owed TCC. So essentially, Barrick Gold comes in, pays off TCC, and it also promises to put in $10 billion that, again, Imran Khan is claiming in his tweet that those $10 billion will go towards creating 8,000 jobs. Okay, so now let us take a look at what's going to happen next. So I'm going to show you where this mine is located and how far it is from the Iranian border or Iranian border. How far is it from Quetta, which is where the 𝗣cie𝗱𝗰𝘀𝘀 comes in. I mean, there is a way to connect up to the 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 road. The 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 road, there are two 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 roads. One 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 road goes through the mainland Pakistan, which is Islamabad, Rawalpindi, and all that good stuff. And the other one comes west and comes through Quetta, and it makes a way down south. And this one goes to the 𝗣𝗂𝘂 port. So my guess, and I'm going to show you the map of where Reko Diq is located, and I'm going to make some educated guesses. And I might go wrong, but I'm reasonably sure this is what's going to happen. So here we go. So if you look at this map, that is a map of Pakistan, and then more or less centered around Balochistan. And you see the pin, and that is where Reko Diq mines are located. Now, if you look at it, there is one highway that goes from there and joins at close to Quetta, which is where the 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 corridor is supposed to be. And that corridor comes down south all the way to 𝗣𝗂𝘂. So let us say that the ore, I have a feeling that they will not purify it in Pakistan, because then the chances of that going missing are higher. They might take a chance. Let me take the ore and purify it elsewhere, which is what TCC wanted to do anyway. So now Pakistan was at the receiving end. The airlines were being snatched left, right, and center. So they decided probably that it is best to settle, and now they've got a buyer. Barrick Gold, I don't know what kind of a bet they have, but it is my guess that Barrick Gold has a customer already. And again, I'm going to make a guess here. That customer is China. Oops, I already talked about 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃. That's why. So let's say if China is the customer. Now, China can take this ore from Reko Diq in three ways, in my opinion. One is they take it due east, join up the 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 corridor, take it south, and then go to 𝗣𝗂𝘂 and ship it out in ships, or take it north through the 𝗣cie𝗱𝗃 corridor through the Gilgit area into China. Another possibility. A third, even more intriguing possibility is they drive due west into Iran, and then, well, guess what? India has built an excellent road there. Join up with that road and go directly south to Chabahar port, which too, I believe they have a control over. At that part, I'm not 100% sure if India has completely ceded control on Chabahar port or not. So we have to wait and see how that goes. So China has three ways to take out the ore. And taking out ore is probably easier because all they need to do is figure out how to transport it out. Now, Balochi Liberation Army is quite active right now. So we have to wait and see how this is going to play out. Already there are rumblings because the Balochi assembly said, wait, we have not been consulted in this. We have not signed off on this. Therefore, this is not acceptable to the people. So Balochis are going to protest. Whatever little work that Barrick Gold might try and attempt, Balochis are going to protest. Already Balochistan is not extremely happy with Pakistan. In fact, it's extremely unhappy with Pakistan's regime. So how this is going to play out is anyone's guess. However, inside, amidst all this stuff, there has been an OIC meeting that started, and we have to wait and see what things they come up with. Some resolution, they'll read out 10 points, who everybody might just forget once they are in the airport and gone back to their homes. But be that as it may, some people will make noise, especially in India, because there's a Hurriyat team also there. I don't know if they quite made it or not. Nobody has talked about that part. Again, it's not important. What is important is this takes nothing away from the impending vote of no confidence. That is going to be a few days after the OIC ends, and most likely it's going to be resulting in Imran Khan still losing grip. Because in my opinion, this particular deal strengthens the establishment's hand even more, and it perhaps might bring the entire waging factions inside the establishment, I'm talking about the armed forces, back under Bajwa, because they'll smell the $10 billion. Aha! All we have to do is to keep the Balochis quiet. Here is a slice of the pie that we can get our hands on. That's what I think is going to happen. And once, the next prime minister is selected, things will have their own way of moving forward. Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to click on the bell button. Thank you. Namaskar.